Friday. Yes, yes, yes. So we are just getting all of our ducks in a row here. We are live on three different platforms, which we are striving to get better about doing. Oh, wait a minute. It ended on Instagram. Let's try it again. Hmm. I look frozen here. Can you see me, sis? Do I look frozen on your end too?
Let me
It's,
check Instagram.
is it on Instagram or on?
On Instagram. I'm going to come off
Oh,
live. This is what happens when you do, just a technology bit. I'm just going to come out. And if Instagram doesn't allow today, we're just going to keep pushing because we have two other platforms to work with. So let's see how that goes. We say thank you so much again for coming in. We're back. So thank you again, family, for stopping by with the Heal Thyself Tribe for our 12:30 p.m. presentation, our discussion. So we would like to first start by giving thanks to those who have committed to the journey with us on the 21-day detox with Queen Afua and ourselves. We are grateful. And I'm really not sure what's happening with Instagram, but
yeah.
it's definitely freezing. So we will just continue on this platform and maybe share it somehow to Instagram. So I'm going to end it here so that it doesn't look weird. And we'll just keep the conversation going. I am Shayola Benta, the director of the Heal Thyself School, as well as a Heal Thyself holistic practitioner. And I am so happy to co host with the executive to the chair, Latoya Davis, who is also a Heal Thyself holistic practitioner, and Shantae Wilkerson, who is our lead coach and practitioner. So we are in full swing with our 21-day detox, and we did say that we will definitely give thanks and praise. Excuse me, wifely duty calls. Are you really? He doesn't care that I'm live and this will be shown to dozens or hundreds of people, you know. So, anywho, we are going to talk about food and mood today. Each week, we hope to bring you something a little different while we are actually in the 21-day process. Hold on, I'm trying to find my keys so that may not be able to do this right now. Give thanks. Wow, the joys of going live. You can never just, we can't
Right.
even edit this
Anything,
part out, right?
anything that happens, having a toddler just pop us out of
Right.
nowhere. Yeah.
Like life still happens.
Yeah.
So again, we are here to talk about food and mood and how it really does change what's happening from the inside out, right?
Mhm.
So I would like to open with we're reading, and as practitioners continuing in our studies, we get together once a week to read Queen of Fu. Okay, then Queen of Fua's City of Wellness, which is really a wealth of information. So down below on the ticker, we have put where you can purchase it and the full name. But on page, we're going to start off with page 7, just a quickie. It says food and mood, what we eat and why we eat it, right? So they say you are what you eat, or whatever you're eating is eating you. If we stop the perilous pendulum swing towards obesity, we must face the truth about the relationship between food and mood. We must be willing to examine the sometimes painful facts about who we are, what we eat, and why we eat it. So, let's just stop there. Let's just unpack that little paragraph. So, what do y'all think? What do you all? Y'all know I'm in Virginia. Y'all, what y'all think about food and mood? Have you seen any differences in yourselves as it relates to what you're eating and the mood that it places you in? So, whoever feels free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. When I transitioned from, well, I was eating plant-based for 3 years, but then I went into eating raw. That's when I really started noticing the difference because people, when you eat plant-based in general, it's just like you never think about how there's still, well, some people in general may not think about how there's still ways you can eat for comfort, or that there are ways that you can eat, junk food regardless, so it's just being mindful of what is more healthier than, and regardless of what type of food you want to eat. So for me personally, I started noticing that when I was do like fast, in particular juicing, and then I would go to work, and when I was working an actual 9 to 5, and the stress that happens with that, I noticed that I was stressed out, and when I would come home, I would want to eat something that had, like a sandwich, like a sub, like that's something I wanted, but it would be like a vegan sub, but it would have bread on it. And I noticed that's something in relation to comfort. I would want to eat sweets, like a vegan cupcake or whatever the case may be. So once I started to eat raw, and then would do the 21 days of eating, like of doing just juices or liquids, then I started noticing when I was stressed, I would have a craving for those things. And I'm like, hold on, I'm doing a fast right now with juices. So
Mm,
then that made me realize, like, wow, this is really, really deep. That even though it's really a mental thing, and that is more than just the food. And that's one of the things I feel like that's a message that really needs to be pushed in the health sector, period, because I
mm,
just feel like it's the focus on the before and after pictures of losing weight, when
Mhm.
it's so much deeper than that. You can lose the weight but still have the mindset of still having that weight on you. And because it's and also Queen mentioned that in the city of in this section, she mentioned about the weight of your heart, you know
mm,
and
mhm,
about my eye. So it's so
mm,
much goes into that. So yes, I noticed it, a major difference, and it's levels to this. That's one
Mhm.
thing I learned.
it's
Yeah.
definitely levels to this.
hmm
Yes. Mm-hmm,
So that's
mm-hmm,
my experience of just like, wow. Once I started to do eat raw and then juice, for a long period of time, that's when I
mm-hmm,
started to notice that, yeah, this is real deep. You are A lot of times we eat in general for comfort, instead of for the
mm-hmm,
nourishment.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. We definitely eat for comfort. Shantae, what say you down there in Alabama?
Oh man, it is very easy to slip into some Southern cuisine. It's quite
Into
easy.
some Southern cuisine.
Oh
Okay. Yeah.
man! So my experience with food has been a very interesting one, and the more I thought about my health, the more I really got conscious with what I was putting in my body. I officially went vegan, plant based in 2020, either 2019 or 2020. I officially cut everything out. But prior to that, I was struggling. I knew that I wanted to transition into a completely vegetarian, vegan, or plant based lifestyle, but
Mm,
the availability of food is I'm in South Alabama. There is fried chicken. There is oxtails and gravy and beef tips and all these other different things that I was just those were my favorites since I was a kid. So I
mm,
found myself when I was stressed and feeling anxious or dealing with depression or any number of things, food was always my go-to, and
mhm,
overeating the food was another part of it. So I
mhm,
did gain a lot of weight. I got up to my heaviest for me, and I weighed myself getting ready to go to Las Vegas, and I was like, oh, okay, I weigh more in this particular moment than I did the day I went in labor with my son. Something here is not quite right. But
Not
it's,
quite right.
oh, it was
Hmm.
not good. But it still took me a long time to understand the connection between my emotions and my food. And I have had a very interesting roller coaster ride experience with food, stress, and trauma. And in my last relationship, that relationship in itself was a very large traumatic experience. And I saw my relationship with food go from, overeating to not eating enough. And
Mm.
it was, a variation of those things. And the 21-day detox is actually what got me on track. In 2019, I told my son, I apologized to him because I told him I hadn't been the best mom that I could be up to that point because I was just a mess. And I was like, something's got to change. I need to figure out what it is that's going on with me. And fast forward to 2020, a bunch of life happened before the pandemic. My son's father passed, and he was 28 years old,
Mm.
and that was a huge blow. And I realized, like, you're his only guardian.
Hmm.
You have got to get this together.
Hmm.
So committed to the journey. I didn't know what the next step was going to look like.
Hmm.
I remember hearing about Queen Afua, and my sister, as if right on cue, was like, "Oh, Black Girls Rock and Queen Afua have joined forces," and that brought me to it. And as I went through the 21-day detox, um, I realized that I had control over my body. I had control over my food. I had control over my emotions. I didn't have to, just flap in the breeze and take whatever. I had the ability to make the choice to be healthier. And so the 21-day detox just gave me the push that I needed because it required a lot of me. And I had a lot that I was willing to give. I just didn't know where to put it. And so
Hmm.
that is why I am here
Hmm.
because that 21-day detox really is a game changer, and it
Hmm.
works if you work it.
Listen, that's my motto because this is really like rehab,
Oh, yeah.
and what you put in definitely is what you get out of it. I can remember going through my journey. I started at 30. So it's been about 12 years. But I became really sick and borderline obese when I
Mhm.
transitioned into a vegetarian lifestyle. I knew that I didn't want to eat meat, but I loaded up on the carbs and the dairy, right? So that was the carbs, that comfort, the stagnation. Really, the carbs bind you up, right? It makes you heavy. The dairy, that's usually a craving of nurture, mother. That's the milk. So I was emotionally craving things that were manifesting in a physical way, and by the time it was all said and done, I had amassed 10 fibroids, and I needed immediate surgery because the mucus and the amount of bread and pasta and all the things that I was doing in those earlier years really, it caught up with me. And I shared that I've had bouts with kidney stones. That was before the transition. So my eating has always been a journey for me. Some people may say, I saw a meme earlier today, when you tell people you don't eat meat, they say, well, do you eat seafood? And it's kind of like, it's kind of just, it's the same thing. So really identifying, why we eat the way that we eat is important. So again, if you are loading up on carbs, that can be an indication that there's some part of your life that you feel unfulfilled in.
Mhm.
There is an insecurity. You're looking for something to embrace you, right? So we fill up. If you are eating crunchiness,
Mhm.
that can be a sign that you are in a state of anxiety. And we know that
Mhm.
anxiety means that we are focusing on the outcome, of a thing. So there are many aspects to, why we eat what we eat. And food and mood really go hand in hand. So I just want to read real quick some of the emotional causes of what we eat. So this is what I'm about to pull from is from our Sacred Woman book, which we all are. We started off with our Sacred Woman journey, which then led us to other parts of albeit the institute or just in life overall.
Mhm.
So let's say flesh foods. Now, some people become offended when you say flesh foods. They prefer meat. But if we're being honest, meat and flesh are not the same. Meat refers to fruits, flesh is skin. So anything that has eyes or can bleed is flesh, right? So flesh foods, pork, beef, chicken, goat, fish. The emotional and social diseases. It causes resentment, it dulls the senses, creates anger, brings on violence, causes inappropriate sexual aggression and envy. The alternatives, of course, vegetables. Um, Cleanse with red clover, chaparral, herbal tea. Take enemas and a laxative. Now, the physical diseases of flesh foods could be cancer, low energy, fatigue, high blood pressure, swelling, prostate conditions, impotence, and fertility. So that's really, really big. I mean, my mother took us off of red meat and pork when I was about 15. But here again, even coming off of the flesh foods, that dairy and those carbs are just as damning. So
Mhm.
I was that person who did every day a butter bagel with the coffee light and sweet, or butter bagel. Because I wasn't doing bacon or whatever, I would substitute with turkey. I would still do the eggs and cheese, coffee light and sweet. So mucus, flesh, mucus, 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 all for breakfast. And
Mhm.
had no idea that I was eating the dis-ease, and it manifested in other ways. So before I move into the white flour products, do either one of you have anything to share as it relates to flesh foods?
No, not really. But when you mentioned like having the bagel every day, I remember earlier in my vegan journey, I would have like a bagel. I would have bagels every day, and then I cut it out. But yeah.
Mhm. It took a hospital visit of 3 for me to cut it out. It's like, no, not the bagels. And then I used to live up the street from a 7-Eleven. So I just switched out the bagel for a croissant. And croissants are made with lard. So that's like
Mm.
a double dose of
Oh,
the mucus. But it's just like, I love it. But the body is like, we don't, you know? But Shantae, what
absolutely.
were you going to say?
I laugh because the liberation diet is truly that
Mm,
it is liberating.
hmm
I remember 2018. Who that was a year. I tell you, that year challenged me in ways that I had no idea um, a person could be challenged. And
mm,
food was my comfort. It was my friend, like my homie. We would get together when the kids would go to school, and my gentleman that I was seeing at the time would be gone doing his thing. I literally would just leave the house, go to this spot up the road. I had a couple of spots. Not gonna lie, a couple of spots.
mm,
I knew the menu. I
mm,
knew exactly what I wanted, and I know there was one week, Monday through Friday, every day straight. I went and I got a plate of oxtails and rice with gravy,
mm,
macaroni and cheese and cabbage, and an extra cornbread muffin. And
mm.
every day I was eating, and that plate had to be 2 to 3 pounds of food, flesh, mucus building, just cholesterol
Mm.
raising food that I thought was no, just let them know that it's there. I did. Okay. That's fine. Thank you. All right. But anyhow, and that's what I did. I did that
Mm.
for at least a week that I recall, and it was because I was just dealing with anxiety and just dealing with the gifts of 2018 that I did not want. And
Mm.
like I said, 2018 was the pendulum swing. I was
Mm.
overeating,
Mm-hmm.
2 to 3 pounds of food with the oxtails and rice, and then I was under eating days where I was barely drinking water. I made sure that my son got to school. I handled like responsibilities, but that was it. So just
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
the 21-day detox, like I
She's like,
said,
listen, the 21-day detox saved
it's
my life. We
it
feel you, sis.
truly,
Yes.
genuinely has saved my life because
Mm-hmm.
even now, when I get in my head about things and I'm stressed out, oh, you need a green drink. Get your
Mm-hmm.
green drink in right now in this moment, and then I can think clearer. I can eat my food. I can do the things that I need to do. If I feel led to do, a juice, a liquid diet for that day, I've got my green drinks. That's going to
Mm-hmm.
give me my protein that I need. That's going to give me
Mm-hmm.
all my essential amino acids and things that I need. I'm going to get what I need from the liberation diet. And on those days where I'm hungry, where I want all the food, I'm going to get my liquid meal in, and then I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
sure I get my solid meal in, so I don't overdo the solid
Mm-hmm.
meal. And it truly, once you learn the system and you start working in it, it works for you. It works
Mm-hmm.
with you. It
Mm-hmm.
just it works. And
Mm-hmm.
so I highly recommend it for anybody dealing with depression, anxiety, any type of mental health issues, any type of self evaluation issues. Just start taking these steps, because what you put in your body, that's you have full control of that.
Mm-hmm.
Full control.
Full
So
control.
definitely get on in the room, y'all. Come on in here.
Get in the room, y'all.
Come on in
You
and
sound like Latoya last week. Latoya, how you say eucalyptus?
I'm gonna say, try to strive to say it correctly this time.
No, I was just I ain't gonna even put you on the spot like that for real.
I did watch that replay. I was like, you know what? You keep striving for greatness,
That's
because
right.
there are
That's
some
right.
words that I'm not even going to attempt to say live. I'm
Yes.
just going to point to it.
This is what
This
it
right
is.
here.
Right, right, right. But you know, the eucalyptus is obviously great. But I love what you said because excuse me, it really does take 21 days to develop a habit or break one. So when you really invest, you know, some people say, oh, I don't want to juice. I don't want to have to make it from scratch. But it's you. You're investing in you. So allow yourself the opportunity to maybe prep for 3 days. I don't have the time. Like you don't have the time for you. Like and that was me. I remember saying to someone, they said, all you have to do is meditate for five minutes. I said, 5 minutes? I don't have time to meditate for 5 minutes. She said, well, then you need 10. So I'm
Mhm.
just like, it's a real thing. But let me just share with you the white flour products with you all. So the white flour products would be the breads, the sugars, the pastas. The emotional disease with that is emptiness in your life, lack of fulfillment, and boredom. So here again, when we're eating those heavy foods, those pastas and those rices, there's something in us that doesn't feel fulfilled. So we're trying to fill that void, but then we're
Mhm.
not being insatiated. So you're still hungry for real
Mhm.
after you eat them. So some alternatives would be things like millet, couscous, bulgur wheat, wild rice, black rice. Now the physical diseases with white flour products would be your poor circulation, your constipation, hemorrhoids, and congestion. So really taking a look at the reason why you are eating what you are eating. Now, the dairy products, right? Because we talked about the flesh, we talked about the white flour. Dairy is one of those other things, y'all, that really will bind us up in a physical, emotional, and spiritual way. So those are your milks, your cheeses, your ice cream, and similar based products. Well, what are the emotional and social diseases with that? Loneliness, feeling unloved, unfulfilling relationships, sticky relationships with parents, especially your mother. So, again, that brings us back to the nurture. We're craving the milk because we are craving a love of some sort, right? So, we want to go back to why do I want ice cream? Now, if you are accustomed to eating ice cream when you want something sweet, the brain already knows, oh, we want something sweet. We're going to go to the ice cream. But if you are have changed that with, let's say, a smoothie or fruit, after 21 days, the brain is processed to grab a fruit or something that is not going to cause you the dis-ease. The physical aspects of dairy products are tumors, glaucoma, colds, fevers, hay fever, asthma, and mucus. So again, the 21 days really does give us it gives us a moment to just reflect on why we are eating the way that we eat. What is consuming us that we in turn want to consume it. So we have about 4 minutes left. I just want to leave everyone with some more information. Again, Sacred Woman, this is not, yes, it's a journey for women. But fellas, you have your own book, Man Heal Thyself, but this is still a really good read for it's a guide. You know, you probably won't get through this in one sitting. Take your time with it because it is nutrient dense. But let's just say this. These are some of the things that we want to program the subconscious mind with. Celery enhances positive thinking. Cucumber enhances forgiveness. Spinach enhances creativity. Broccoli and Brussels sprouts enhance physical and mental strength and endurance. Spirulina brings forth strong generation. Blue algae brings forth overstanding, connects you with the creator creators. Parsley, it enhances your spiritual life. And I love me some parsley. I could eat that by itself. Watercress or string beans draws prosperity. Sprouts gives you a majestic presence. Dill rejuvenates the bones, removes aches and pains. Fresh peppermint restores your hair, skin, and nerves. Turnip greens restores the blood, clears up eczema, boils, pimples, and acne. So that in and of itself, look, I want a salad right now. So I love what you said, Shantae. Like when I'm feeling away, wait a minute. Do I need a green juice right now? Ooh, wait a minute. Do I need an avocado? Wait a minute. Do I need some berries? So again, the body is just so like you said, you had a relationship, you had a personal, unhealthy, likewise, relationship with food. Now it's time to undo that trauma bonding and really step into what the body needs for it to thrive. I've heard so many people say, well, we're going to die anyway. Or my grandmother ate that, or my great grandmother ate. Y'all, stop it. We're talking about a different time. And then the body was able to sustain. But we're so dumbed down and distracted and all the things. We can't really even withstand that anymore. And just to even know how the animals are being treated,
it's a different
it's the thing. But does anyone have anything to add in this last minute or so that we have?
Well, you definitely said it all when you mentioned the part about we're in a different time, a different age. I just recall just my grandparents, them growing their own food, even catching they caught their own fish, they caught their crab, they did all that stuff. I was able to see it, so it was more my eye, it was more balanced even back then, more natural. So of course they were able to live longer and thrive, and they were more into doing things natural that I think many people didn't realize was more natural at that
Mm,
time. It was just the way things were done.
mm-hmm,
And then we
mm-hmm.
shifted and kind of got disconnected from that.
Yeah.
Way disconnected.
Mm-hmm.
We really don't have the connection that we should have with mama. Most of us, I would speak for my family. It's like, just give me the pill. Just, I want to eat what I
Yeah.
want to eat. Just give me the medicine and I'll go ahead
Right.
and take it, and coming out of that has really been the best choice that I can make, for my life. So, you know, we'll come back again next week, Friday at 12:30 with a little bit more, perhaps another topic. I mean, food and mood can go a long way.
Right.
But
Absolutely.
we definitely want to, bring you the information that we have really been privileged and blessed, to not only read about, but to learn about it from the person who wrote it and is living it. And we are just truly, truly, truly grateful for Queen Afua and all that she has done and continues to do for the wellness community. So, as Latoya has mentioned a couple of times already, we are working to get into a space of ma'at, a space of balance. We have to have it. We have to have our hearts light as a feather. So when judgment day really is every day, right? So you should be judging yourself and what you've done every single day and not waiting for that one day to come.
Mm-hmm.
So we are working towards being light as a feather with our beautiful selves so that we can radiate from the inside out. So with that, we say until next week, we love you, as Brother Eric would say, for loving yourselves, and peace, love, and light. We'll see you
Peace.
next week. Peace.